Well, for more on Germany's economy, let's bring in Nicholas Economides. He's an economics professor at NYU Stern. Welcome.
Yes, thank you.
Now, even as Germany's economy grows, the country is seeing record high poverty. We saw a number of factors we discussed. What do you think is behind the disparity?
I don't think that poverty is that bad in Germany. By international standards, they are kind of close to the average of the European Union. So they're not in a desperate situation, but definitely they could do better. That's where we are. I think that the welcome news here is that growth is going well in Germany. This was a danger because Germany didn't do a stimulus package like the United States for the recession that just preceded us.
Now, you mentioned its European counterparts, but what about the US and Asia? How does Germany's situation compare?
Well, the US has a kind of uncertain situation right now. President Trump has still not consolidated his position. There are still open positions in his cabinet. Not everybody has been confirmed. And additionally, the radical changes that he proposed have not yet been implemented in detail. So this creates an opportunity for Germany to try to emerge as a key power of the West in negotiating with the Chinese. Whether they're able to do it remains to be seen, and to some extent it depends on the extent of the strength of the European Union, which is tested in the upcoming French elections.
Now, speaking of upcoming elections, how will Merkel or perhaps her successor really address some of these issues when it comes to poverty?
I'm not sure. That remains to be seen. If Merkel perseveres, she's probably going to take measures right away to find a way to reduce poverty. If it's the Social Democrats, they will need some time to put their act together before they do that. But keep in mind that even now, although we talk about Chancellor Merkel, we really have a coalition government in Germany. So it will be a coalition government later as well. So it won't be a radical change. We're not facing the possibility of a radical change such as it exists right now in France.
Now, we've had a number of surprises when it comes to elections and referendums this year. If you look at what happened in the US, if you look at what happened with Brexit. So we're seeing this idea of people feeling left out of economic prosperity. How likely are we to see Germany see a similar outcome given some of the issues that we're seeing with the wealth gap?
The outcome in Germany is very uncertain, and you have to keep in mind that the crucial issue in Europe is immigration. The war in Syria and earlier wars in Afghanistan, northern Pakistan, and Iraq have brought floods, millions and millions of refugees to Europe. And Chancellor Merkel has opened the borders, at least of Germany, for those refugees. So how the refugee problem is going to be handled from now on is going to define how the European Union will go forward and how Germany will go forward. And Germany has to be careful in some sense because the interests of themselves, is Germany, sometimes diverge from the interests of the rest of the Union because the European Union's economy is not doing as well as Germany's. So the fact that Germany needs extra labor doesn't mean that the rest of Europe needs extra labor. And there are other issues also regarding the behavior of refugees, how they're going to be integrated in society, right, and so on. But anyway, coming back, I think that the most crucial issue for the European Union and Germany is going to be how it's going to handle the refugee crisis.
Now, when people look at Germany's growth, a lot of people say being open to trade tends to really boost economic growth and in turn, hopefully, increase living standards. But how has globalization affected poverty levels in Germany?
Well, it's not just globalization, it's also technological change, which substitutes machines for workers in many different endeavors of the economy. There is also the high-tech revolution in computers and biotechnology, which is also substituting people, away with people and more with machines. So there is a lot of product being produced by the computer industry, by the biotechnology industry, by the car industry, but a lot of it is not produced by humans directly, but is produced by machines that humans just supervise. That creates more inequality. That
Right.
means there are going to be less people employed, more unskilled people unemployed, and so on. So this is a problem, and this is a global problem. It's not just Germany. The same problem we have in the US,
Right.
the same problem is in Japan and other places.
Certainly a lot of people looking at what the future of work will look like. We'll have to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us, Nicholas Economides, Economics Professor at NYU Stern.